Hi, this is Rich. How you doing? I and Agvila together, we are discussing the subject of entities and targeted individuals. Uh, and we're kind of feeling it in our world. And we thought, hey, let's turn on the camera and have our conversation and share our thoughts with you guys. So we'll just begin. It has to do with entities and being targeted individuals. Mm, What are some of the things that you've noticed that make you feel like you've been targeted?
Well, there's like a lot of ways to go at it. For me, I know I can have like a long period of good days when things are going my way and anything that's going on in the surroundings or in the background is not a trigger. Like there might be things that should trigger me, but I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like I'm just like, flowing around and it's like, it's okay. I can manage it. Like nothing at all. There's going to be days when it's going to be one thing after another and it builds up and it goes hardcore and then it triggers you and then like it kind of pays on a like things that you care most about or something really important, and all of a sudden like you are on this high wave of your life and this goes all the way down. And then again, I work with a lot of people. Like lately I've been doing a lot of quick scans, and quite a few wrote to me saying about the recent stuff going on in their life, and they're like want me to look at it. And so like for me it's noticeable where there are days where people are fine, and then there's massive wave of people like saying, hey, we need help, something's going on. And you read through all of their emails, different stories, but same signs of they were good at some point in their life and then went all downhill.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What
I
about
noticed
you
that.
though? Like how do you notice it?
Well, like yesterday, I was doing really great, and today is like just stupid shit triggering. You know, trigger. Uh, and it's like, what the fuck, and I've noticed it a few times in the last week or two. Same thing. I'll be doing really good, and then right after that peak of doing great, and then wham. And I have a theory. You want to hear my theory?
Yeah.
Yeah. My theory is that things are heating up on Earth. Big picture, humanity. You know, what's happening and how's it playing out and what's going to happen. And those of us, you could call them star seeds. In other words, beings from the stars, other planets, other galaxies, incarnating here on Earth to seed this planet with our good, warm, wholesome, loving messiness of it all. We're so wonderful, right? But we're going to seed this planet with intelligence for those of us feeling smart, and bringing in the light, the information that will help people understand what's going on in the world, what's going on with themselves, and how to better their conditions in this world, and then when they leave this world. But it's kind of an awakening effort. So a lot of beings, I believe, have incarnated for this reason, thus called starseeds, and they may not remember anything at all right now, except they have a desire to make things better. And they're doing what they can. They're learning what they can about themselves and about the world. And what do I do? They don't know. But they are waking up and lighting up. And the dark side doesn't like it. So they are targeting individuals whenever they start to wake up. I mean, it's like having an out-of-body experience. That's a wake up. Having a Kundalini rising thing, that's a wake up. Finding out what the hell's going on in the world, really, that's a wake up. They don't like that. They being the dark forces on the planet that want to suppress humanity and dominate, control, and enslave. That's my theory on why so much targeting is going on right now. What your thoughts?
Well, my point of view is like plain and simple, we're food.
We're food.
humanity, yeah, we're food, we're on the food chain and pretty high. Like people eat chickens or vegetables and something to eat every day. That's humans. Like,
Oh my God.
and on that same note, there's like, let's say, a cycle of energy being sort of taken away from us, the loo specifically, like every 2 weeks. And like we get to have our time of like, oh, finally life is getting better. And like we get to, be productive. We get to finally, we get better. We learn something. We find the little goal in life. We go for it. Boom, and crashes down like after 2 weeks. And let's say, whatever time period, but like it's usually 2 weeks. And then you go down pretty hard, like whatever triggers, you got a new job, and then all of a sudden the coworker is nasty as can be, or your like a wife or husband or lovers yell at you and other things happen. There's like a lot of things going on. And keeping on the same subject, like I'm talking about luge being taken, like humanity is on the food chain, and it's nonetheless like same humans like us, but they're playing a different game, and they're beyond Earth, and they're like using us for a black market, selling us off. It's like, okay, they have their time to breathe, get better, get that energy, and then in a few weeks that trigger is going to be pretty big. It's like when it happens every day, you get used to it, so to speak. But when it's a surprise, boy, does that throw you off. And there's like a lot of that negativity, aggravation, being pissed off and hateful and everything else. And they just gather up delusion energy, sell it off to the other guys, and they can empower themselves and use it for their technologies and other things. But it's happening all the time.
Wow. Yeah, it reminds me of taking blood from an individual for whatever. Somebody goes to the blood bank, they give blood, or a fucking vampire takes your blood. Doesn't matter, but you're going to need a few weeks to recover before you give more blood. And if somebody was farming out the animals and sucking the blood out of them, they would have to give them a rest so they could replenish their energies, their loosh. So it's like, that's what made me, that's what it reminded me of. They'd suck us dry completely,
Yeah.
except no, they gotta give us a break and let us build up our loosh before they
Make sure it's
suck it out of
tastier
us.
and better and all this stuff. Like, man,
Yeah, like we're the prime rib here. We're the fucking
filet mignon.
yeah, we're the filet mignon of the fucking galaxy, man. Oh, that's not a good thing. Listeners would be, they're looking the entire face, just looking at us. Oh god.
Drooling from far, far away.
Yeah, well. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons people are getting that shit kicked out of them.
One of the things,
psychically.
Yeah, psychically. There's a lot of things going on like in the background that we don't notice about, but it's like some humans on Earth where they're NPCs or conscious, they get this message from certain, demiurges, archons, and all the stuff of how to program humanity. And let's say if people are into waking up and fighting back and doing things and getting better, finding a goal in life and going for it, everyone's going for that high. And there's like a lot of things in the background, whether you're watching a movie or playing a game, your favorite hero dies, like look at the, let's say, Marvel Endgame, Iron Man, like, oh man, that guy was fucking great and took him off. And like a lot of good people keep on dying. And it's like programming, like, oh, good guys die, good guys fail, good guys lose. A lot of that going on. You turn on TV and everything in the mainstream media is like programming on shutting you off. You're wrong. You're, you shouldn't think like that. And like, obey. And there's like a lot of like, I don't know, massive belief like going on. I sound like massive belief, how should I say it? There are groups making massive public belief in certain like play of how it is, and everyone focuses on the negative. And because we are godlike creator beings who think about things and manifest them right away, the more we hear same scenarios, the more we see same stuff repeating, we're focusing on it, we're creating it as well. And it doesn't take much, whatever's going on in your background, where you're like, again, watching a movie, playing a game, talking to people, it's there.
Yeah, they call it, one of the labels they use is social engineering. the
Yeah.
engineering society with technology, psychological technology, psyops, psychological operations, propaganda, mind control of the masses. And that's what they do, and that's how they do it. I can't say what I'm going to say next. I can't say it fucking enough. This world is like a fucking dream, a livid, vivid dream. That's it. It's not really real, but we believe it is solid by virtue of what we think and feel about it, just like when we step into a dream. And some people have that daydream ability where they can manifest and visualize, their visualizations are so good that they can touch it and feel it and smell it and step into their visualized world. And they can be wide awake, staring at the chalkboard, drooling with the professor talking out his ass, right?
Yeah.
But they're in another world. This world is just like that. This is that kind of simulated reality or imagining. But so it responds to what we think and feel. And the bad boys on this planet know how that works. And it doesn't happen instantly like in a vivid dream. I've been having livid dreams lately, not vivid dreams. So anyway, yeah, you guys probably heard me talk about this. Go fucking nuts on this shit before. So
I'm thinking, we recently saw this movie, Don't Look Up. Boy, was that good. A lot of critics like Rotten Tomatoes and everyone else and people who are preaching Don't Look Up hate the movie. But
right, yeah.
you could look at the movie and it's not about asteroid, it's not about global warming, it's what's going on right now in the world. And Don't Look Up is don't look into the research of the real deal information, what's going on and all this stuff. People are pushing oh, look, that guy who was preaching the technology is Bill Gates, the president is everyone in our governments keeping the message and supporting that fucking guy. Is it's again so much.
Yeah, it's a great movie, great metaphor about what's really going on right now.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Rip it off. No, sorry.
Netflix has it. Amazon
Netflix,
has it.
Yeah. We would never do that other thing, but Netflix got it. That's where we saw it anyway. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, entities being attacked, targeted. There's different, whatever's going on in your world. This is, you pick, is this causing it? Yeah. How about this? Well, I don't know if it's this, or this causing my condition or situation. And the answer is yes.
Your hand is going.
My hand, whoa.
Alien
my hand is melting. But yeah, if a person's being targeted, what would you suggest?
Oh man, it really depends on the targeting, but first and foremost, you have to admit that you are being targeted, because blaming it on yourself, it's all my fault. Yeah, it's good to take responsibility for things, but you have to understand that in this game of life, the game is rigged and it's going against you. No matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, someone is cheating 24/7. Someone sees all your cars, know all your moves, know what you're going to do. They're following you 24/7, and they're not even on Earth. And they see you all the time, and they're like, okay, well, let's wait for this guy to climb up the ladder so we can, and boom, you go down. So you have to learn how this game is played. And when stuff happens, stop saying, God, so fucked up, and stop focusing on all the stuff's going on, because you have to back up and look at the bigger picture. You're being targeted. What were you going for? The bigger goal. What were you doing just before all the shit hit the fan? And you were actually feeling really good. You were going for something better. You had a goal in life. And once you see oh, I was feeling great. I had this thing I was working for and all the stuff. And, when everything happens that, everything just crashes down, man, you have to like back up. You have to really look at seeing like seeing all the details. And that's where like I started looking at things that happen again and again, the patterns. For me, I personally like, let's say, going for a walk and just getting some fresh air, free space, just focus on myself and like doing that synergy work. But there's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing about being a targeted individual, and there's many different agencies and organizations or groups, factions, individual kinds of beings or entities that can be those that have you targeted. And so you can't, there's not like one fix for all of it, but having an understanding of it is important. And a metaphor is,
There we go.
I love my metaphors, man. It's like fleas. Now, if you, they have targeted you and they're biting you and sucking the blood and the life right out of you. They're fucking fleas. Well, there's two ways you can look at it, and they're both right. And that is that you could say, okay, where are these fleas coming from? How do I get them off? And how do I get them away and keep them from biting me? You learn about fleas, and you start getting them out of your space, and like that. I thought of a gross thought.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's not like fleas, it's more like lice. Because fleas usually will bite and run. Well, when you're targeted, they do that too, but some of them will just get here and stay here, as metaphors go.
On the same page, but not necessarily on the metaphor.
Yeah, let's get past the metaphor. Let's talk about it, man.
I've seen, I've been doing this for quite a while, but I've been playing a lot of defense lately. And, recently I've talked to some people saying the same thing. We've been playing defense where we clear the entities. We work on our energy shielding. We work on our diet, and it's constantly defense, like you're staying away and you're just trying to survive. And I'm like, okay, we have to play offense now. It's like, it's enough of sitting down and waiting for someone to save us, because that's not happening anytime at all, ever, forever. Forget about it. Forget
the
all
savior
the
is here, motherfucker, and
Fuck
it's
that
you.
shit. Exactly. Yeah. So get off your fucking couch. Yeah.
I like my couch. Anyway, go ahead.
There's that little, like places.
That's got my name on it.
Yeah.
It says potato. Anyway, moving right along beyond the metaphor.
Yeah. For me, like, I've had a few sessions, like working with people, and specifically like Scientologists, man, some of them are so fucking hard to work with because of their hardcore belief system and being unable to accept more. Like, they're very stuck with what they were taught with, and that's okay, that's their choice. But you work with them and they're like asking you to do all kinds of shit, and like, okay, like, they're the client, sure, client is the king, so of course I ended up getting too much. Like, I wasn't aware of my abilities and what can I do and how far I can go. How easy it is for me to like, oh, look at my past life. Yeah, which part? The part of you being raped and the blood going all over the place, and how much do you want to know? How vivid should I describe it? Because I see it, I experience it, I feel it, I smell it. I'm there. I can be the person experiencing it, or I can see it from any point of view. I'm there, And so for me, it was just like an overload, and so much stuff happened out there, like me working for clients, and I become them to experience that and to tell them what happened, or I can watch it all, and it's just overwhelming. It was too much, too many times that I thought like I can't handle it, and I felt in that victim place. So even like a lot of work that I've been doing was on a very surface level, and people are so excited if they still get plenty of stuff done. And for me, I just felt like, yeah, I can't do it. I don't want to look at that stuff. I don't want to confront it. And I was sitting on the couch. I was laying back. I was on the defense. I don't want to look too much because boy, is that fucking nasty. And recently
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck it. If I'm going to sit on the couch, I'm never going to get anywhere. And I had to literally get up as a consciousness and sort of like, hey, it's enough playing the game on an easy level. I have to up it one notch at least or two and just go all the way. And I'm actually seeing that my abilities are like opening up more. I'm seeing more. I can handle things. I can confront it better. Like even like Rich and I, we were recently playing The Last of Us 2. Boy, did they slaughter some of the people over there. And it's like pretty gruesome and everything. But for me, like watching it, it's not even a trigger anymore. Like, yeah, I'm used to it. So like it's seeing it every day now, so it's like hardcore stuff. But like the point is, even for me to get on a different level and start fighting back more, getting on the offense is where I have to tell myself that, hey, I'm no longer a victim. I can't just sit there and like, oh, I can't do it. It's too much to handle. Like, no, you have to handle it. Otherwise you're not getting anywhere. So for me, I just have to work my ass off out there more, just go out there and, it's not necessarily killing. That's the worst thing you can do out there. I mean, like if it fits your standards and what you're experiencing it and is good way to express yourself, that's great. But for me, like there's like a lot of talking to do, a lot of talking. Like people got mad on some of the videos I did where, let's say, I met Hillary and other beings because they see the person here on Earth and what they're doing, and this is how they see and define the beingness, the whole consciousness, the whole existence of it all. And I literally, okay, there's an aspect here on Earth and you can hate their guts and that's fine, but they have another aspect out there and it's so different. And I have to like literally confront where even those people that are fucking us over here on Earth out there are different. And I can be really nice little butterfly here and I can be a massive killer out there. Like I have to confront it all, but there's a lot.
Yeah. Consciousness is all of it, and we've kind of trickled down into this. I'm just me now, and now you get back down here, and from this perspective, how much can you reach back up? Like, can you bounce back up to who and what you really are, and can you wrap your head around the concepts and imagine how powerful you are and how many beingnesses or personas you have, how many points of view and experiences you are having in the multiverse through all time and space. And yeah, we've been the good guy, the bad guy, and the ugly one, and the good looking one many, many times over. And we're still doing that right now. So there's a place where you get out of judgment. It's not good, bad, right, or wrong. It's like you look at a chess game and this guy isn't good and that guy isn't bad. It's a chess game. Anyway, I can just
too many people are playing
with that.
Speaking of chess, too many people are playing on the level where they are beings in the chess. Like I don't know how you call the figures over there. The queen, the king, the knight, and all the stuff, the pawn. Many people are like seeing, so many people are like playing from the perspective of the pawn. You're the last of the chain, can't do much, like limited and gonna be first to go. But you're not seeing yourself that you are the player and you're the one watching the players and you're the one who created the game in the first place. And we have to recall that, like even with all this targeting, it's not just this aspect. Just don't look at this physical body. It's, the last line. You have to like look up, and where does it all start? There are parts of you out there, things you have done in your past, things you're doing presently right now. You have massive amount of knowledge. You're doing a lot of things out there. Like you're in the war, you're out there creating massive technology and everything else. A lot of things are going on. And there's a reason why here on Earth, when you get on your high and you connect to your other, let's say, higher self, over self, or whatever you want to call it, your other aspects, your spirit guides, the people you know out there from the past lives and everything, your soul family, just keep on naming, you connect with that presence and these beings, they give information. They give you that, feeling good, the presence and everything else. And you walk up with inspired and you want to do so much. And when you get to that level, you get slapped. It's like, nope, you shouldn't go up there. There are beings who like who are watching us, making sure we can't get to that high. And if more of us would just like focus on, hey, I'm not the victim. This is happening for a reason. And not because you deserve it. It's not fucking karma. Forget karma. It's bullshit. But because you are godlike being, you're fucking powerful. You're dangerous. You're threatening others, and you're getting in the way. You're too powerful. You're too good. And everything you're doing, you have to recall it. Like, hey, it's not a victim. You're doing something right that's threatening others who want to control, dominate, suppress you. And boy, you have to be aware of that. You have to fight from a different like perspective.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you join the league, you're playing professional football, and now you're a player, and they're beating the shit out of you. You know, your team is like a bunch of uninformed players in the game, all padded up, and the water boy's smarter than these players, and they're out there, they're getting beat the fuck up. They're not victims. They chose to play the game, and they got to wake up and learn to play the game. They don't even know how to block or throw a pass, but they're out there on the fucking field, and the other team wants to win. It's kind of a metaphor.
And a thing I'll add, we have to recall that you necessarily didn't choose to come here on Earth. There's like a lot of forced incarnations, a lot of people being tricked and everything else. But eventually, when you stop playing the victim, when you look up that, hey, you chose at some point to come and get involved somehow, not specifically on Earth, the physical universe. You chose to, oh, there's a group of people needing help. I'm going to be there to heal them, to teach them, join the war and fight for the good side, or whatever you consider, your mission to be. But we choose to come here for a reason, the physical universe. And that's where it all starts. Eventually, at some point, we get attacked, we get trapped, we get deceived. We feel like we hear so many stories. We meet tons of beings. We have lots of families, lots of lives out here, and you end up here on Earth. And throughout everything that happened, you forgot it all. You can't recall shit. And now you're the victim, but you're not.
Nope. We joined the, you join the fucking army because you have your reasons, right? And you're kind of thinking, it's a 2-year or 4-year hitch, and there's no wars going on, and it's kind of a free ride. And then war breaks out some fucking place.
Yeah.
And now you're in a fucking foxhole somewhere getting the shit blown out of you. And now you're in a fucking prison camp, and you got captured, you got suppressed, you get tortured, you're a targeted individual. You and your 5 guys are breaking out of prison, and you're running out this way, and you're waking up and you're figuring a way out of this shit. Oh, this is another good metaphor.
Yeah, I like it.
And you're running, and they're fucking after you. They do not, you're targeted, all right. But what's this about? You decided to join the fucking army. You took a side. And now this is a side against this side. It's just a game. It's that virtual reality concept. You get into a virtual reality world, and you live it and breathe it as if it's real. And it gets tricky if you forget that it's a game, or you forget your past lives, or forget how you got here. But if you're so goddamn smart and aware, you know exactly how to beat the game. If you came in with your memories, you wouldn't want to come in with your memories. Okay. So you might want to just wipe your own memory. But then let's say, no, I want my memories. I'm coming in here. And then the other guys get you, and they know that you could beat the game and win if you had your memories. So now the other guys, if you didn't fucking stop your own memories, they're going to stop them for you. And now you're back, oh no, I'm a victim now. They stopped my, well, get over it, man. We're here, and it's time to take responsibility for it. And the way you can do it is to gain more knowledge about what entities are and how to deal with the different kinds. And you can talk to them, you can make deals with them, you can do energy work around them, you can set yourself up so that you're not a target anymore. This easy said, right? But we know people that are harshly targeted.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of levels to it and a lot of different techniques. But the technique I've been using lately has to do with manifestation. It's like law of attraction stuff. And if you look at it from the perspective of how is it that the law of attraction works, or how is it that it's the law of manifestation or the law of mirrors? We experience in our external world, which is a mirror of what we're thinking and feeling on the inside. It gets deep and complex, right? But you can start taking it apart and getting rid of the breaking away from being targeted and getting those targeting you out of your space using these kinds of manifestation techniques, or using understanding how you manifested them in the first place and reversing that and using the same power of will and manifestation and imagination to defend yourself or take the offensive or to otherwise deal with the entity. So that's one of the main things I've been doing most recently. How about you, Agila? What sort of things?
Well, for me, there are tons of techniques out there, and each technique is a tool. Some tools you like, some tools you don't, some tools you've heard of, some tools, you've never seen and all this stuff, but there's a massive variety. And it doesn't matter what you use. Some people, let's say, are religious and they're going to pray to Jesus and they're going to call out their archangels and angels and, whatever they believe in. But this is their tool. And if they believe in it, it's going to work. Some people, like us, you and me, we're like, okay, for you, it's manifesting. I do it without trying. I'm not even aware of that I'm doing it, but it's like my nature. At the same time, like, I can see them. I can see entities and beings all around me all the time. If you have entity or someone else is close to me, I'm like, they have entities. I see it, like flying around, picking their nose or whatever, like just messing with them. It's like, yeah, it's there. I can talk to them. I can, have a conversation and telepathically just sitting there looking, and I'm really talking to them, and like they leave. You just like find out, why are they here? Have they been like, actually, like a lot of entities are not here on their own free will. They're not like, hey, let's mess with people. No, they too, just like us, forced incarnated, they're forced to mess with us because they're higher ups, the ones that are like actually have goals on why we should be tortured and messed with in the first place, ordering around little guys that are unaware of what the heck is going on in the first place. A lot of that going on. So for me, like, talking to them, finding out what's up, and actually, digging up to who's above them, just removing the very top so the whole thing falls apart and a lot of little beings are just going to leave because they don't want to be here around us anyway. Giving them permission to leave. Like, hey, anyone that's in my space that actually doesn't want to be here, you have my permission to leave. Saying that alone actually feels like, oh, look, I feel like the load just like, I feel better. I can breathe now. Feels much better. And if you address it like clearer, like specifically anyone that's in my space that's causing me to be exhausted, tired, sleepy, and you just like whatever cluster, whatever you feel that's negative in your space around you, how you feel, thinking, feeling, emotions, and everything else, all that, you label it for yourself so that you would know what the issue is and you get them out, by giving the permission, by talking to them. Again, visualizing it. And we have this technique of, let's say, creating a little box in front of you, little box, you put all the negative shit in there, you put all the agreements, decisions, and anything connected, and you can just go on with all kinds of stuff that you're going to put in the box. And, it goes with entities and little beings messing with you, with astral stuff, with clones, with imprints, with implants, and you just keep on going with whatever you're going to put in that little thing. You disconnect it, you close off top, bottom, the sides, the front and back, and you just like send it off to the galactic vacuum, and boom, all of a sudden, all this mass and everything else that was messing with you, gone. And just tons of techniques, like you look left and right, it's everywhere. But again, you have to sit down and be willing to work on it, because if you're just like, I'm targeted, I can't handle it, and that's how you're going to stay. Nothing's going to change. You're going to get some breathing room, and it's going to happen again, and you're crying again. So you literally have to be willing to sit down and work on it, but it takes a lot of practice.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
And it's not easy. Yeah. It's not easy. Like, simple for us to talk. We too suffer every day. Like, it's not bad every day. We have just like times of, let's say, we have a lot of breathing room. We get good. Like, hey, final life is great. boom, we get smashed so hard. Like, damn, you know, like,
Mhm.
but I have to remember, like, hey, back off. It's not about me. It's not about this physical body. I am a targeted individual. I have to look at parties targeting us. I ask people around, and it's not about me at all. I asked anyone around me, like, how was your day? Trigger, trigger, trigger. How was your day? Trigger, trigger, trigger. How was your day? Trigger, trigger, everyone around me. I'm like, oh, it's not just
Yeah,
me. It's going on all over the place. Luge, we're being
yeah,
targeted. We're being messed with. You know, like we're being eaten, so to speak. So it's everywhere. You just have to like
yeah,
talk to people and see all the signs.
yeah. It's kind of like this big chicken pen, huge, and there's millions of chickens in there. And some of them are just cozy and nice and never heard of somebody grabbing a chicken out of the fucking pen. They didn't even know they're in a pen. It's huge, and there's just chickens everywhere. Chicken, 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 and then there's food falling from the sky and shit. Yeah, you know where to go to eat and all this stuff. Chickens lay an egg a fucking now and then. They're fine. Hey, what? But there's somebody out there that owns this chicken ranch, and these are my chickens. And this chicken rancher is going to grab just the chickens they need to sell them off and sell them to the market. The other chickens are clueless and say, me target? No, I'm not targeted. Nah, you're not. You go ahead and believe that. But in a way, in that little chicken's little world, they're not targeted. It's their beliefs are creating their reality. And in their particular reality, they're not targeted. But my reality, they're targeted. Okay. But it's a deep, deep subject. It really is. It's fucking amazing. But there's techniques. When you understand what entities are, there's different kinds. You can start getting rid of them. You can learn these techniques, right? We can teach them. Yeah.
Anyone can learn. Like even like all my visuals, it's not because I'm special. No, everyone can do it. Like literally, you just have to work on it.
Yeah. I don't see them. She's the visual one. I'm the what? But back in 1989, back then, the same year the VCRs came out, and then Blockbuster showed up. 1989. Yeah, that same year, I started doing work on entities. It wasn't the first year. I started doing some work on entity, you know, I know what they are, where they are, how they are, and how to deal with and get them out of my space in like 1984. But here it was 5 years later, I'm coming up with this new, I found this new technique, and you communicate with these entities and you see where they are and what they're doing and how they're doing it and all this stuff. And there's like all kinds. And I put about 100 hours of work into that. And I don't see them, but got rid of them. But it's like getting rid of a bunch of fucking fleas. 2 weeks later, your dog's back in the house. What the fuck, mate? Where have you been? What are you doing? So it's a process, you know. Shit happens. You get in flea infested neighborhood, and there you go. Anyway, it's kind of like that. I love my metaphors.
Good.
Okay. We done?
Yeah, I think we can, wrap it up. Like this is a serious issues, and we're taking it lightly just because we've seen it so much, and we somewhat know how to deal with it. We too are, feeling like we're being targeted. We get those like lows and all this stuff, but like we have to recall it. Like, hey, we're not victims. We have to like take our time to breathe, and then hey, get back on track, keep on fighting, get up there. Because if you're just like out there screaming, nothing's gonna happen. And it's a lot of work. A lot of work.
Yeah. Hey, and I want to say something here on the end. I was back and forth. Should I say this or not? But we have clients that are targeted by agencies. We won't say what agencies, but literally targeted hardcore with directed energy weapon technology. We're talking from G5 cell towers and other ways. And they're having a very rough time of it. And they are targeted too. They're being targeted from a physical entity in the physical world, like being targeted by a bully. A little kid, he's targeted every fucking day when he goes, the bully and his posse are fucking with his kid, right? The techniques to deal with those kinds of physical entities are different from what Agvila and I are talking about. And the targeted individuals that we're talking about are one that are being psychically attacked or attacked from other dimensional planes or outside your awareness and perception, we call other realms or astral realms or something like that. So that's what we are mainly talking about. And we get that there's being targeted by physical beings and entities and people. And sometimes you can deal with those by finding out what the psychic or entity that the non-physical entity that is affecting the other individual in your life, who's causing that other individual to fuck with you like that. But we come at this from a psychic spiritual perspective. That's what we're about. We don't go out or we don't advocate these physical dealings with being a targeted individual. But I wanted to acknowledge that people are being targeted by that. And our heart goes out to you guys. And sorry, we do what we can, but I don't have my fucking helmet, my flat jacket, my fucking, where is he? Oh man. Anyway.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you. All right. Shall we wrap it up then?
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
Yeah. If you would like to learn more about this, just you can email us or contact us. There'll be some contact information in the description. And
Right. Just share your
all that
stories.
stuff.
If you think you're targeted individual, feel free to write us an email and tell us about what's going on, what happened and all the stuff.
Yeah, and even in comments, if you share, because other people that are interested or engaged in subject and maybe affected by it, that's why they're watching the video in the first place. So if you have a story to share, you can share it in a comment below. And that will help other people get a better understanding or perspective of their issue, perhaps. Okay.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.